少年ジャンプス。
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Shonen Chumps, the only anime podcast on the goddamn internet, featuring the three of us. What's up? I'm Brennan.
I'm Sean.
I'm Dylan.
And today we're talking about Attack on Titan Season 2. Excited? I hope you're excited. We have a lot to say. We're kind of late on this one. We missed the end by maybe like a week or so with this podcast, but hopefully it's still fresh in your brain. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. We also have a Season 1 podcast if you are interested in that. And if you need a refresher, go check that out. Come back. Let's chat. What's going on, guys? What do you think?
I have a question, guys.
Yeah,
cool.
It's been 4 years since Attack on Titan Season 1 ended. Is it worth the wait? Was this season worth the wait?
No.
Oh, shit.
Wait, also this is coming from Dylan.
Who didn't have to wait.
Who didn't have to wait 4 years.
Who didn't have to wait at all, yeah.
For me, Brennan.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
God,
worth the
yes,
wait?
it was worth it. My first note was, this is really exciting.
Damn.
That's the first thing I wrote down.
So for me, I think I did have to wait the 4 years. No, I definitely did. And I thought it was worth it. Okay, maybe, like, I really liked what the season did. I don't know if it was worth a 4-year wait, but
Yeah.
I was pleased when it came back.
Yeah,
I wasn't
definitely.
like, this doesn't live up to what I wanted it to be. I guess I didn't build up the expectations in my head, so I thought it was good.
See, that's the thing. It's like, once you wait 4 years, it's like, what can really bring you back from that? What is actually worth 4 years? Very little, I would say.
Right.
But for what it's worth, when I saw the same characters again, when I saw everything happening in a new setting, it's stuff that I haven't seen 5 times before, I was like, oh my god, this is happening. Here we are, Attack on Titan Season 2.
Yeah. I guess you, like, go through the different hype waves over 4 years.
Right.
First you think this second season has to be the best fucking thing ever. Then you're like, wait, no, it's going to be awful. It's going to be shit. It's going to be the best. It's going to be shit. And then when you finally get to it, I was just happy to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever hit a point where you're like, fuck this, it's not even worth it, I'm done with Attack on Titan?
No, I figured whenever it came back, I'd just jump in, watch a few episodes. Maybe it wouldn't be worth it, and then I'd leave it behind forever.
Fair enough.
If it wasn't. Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta clarify.
Yeah.
Right.
I liked this season,
Yeah.
but the reason why I said it felt like it wasn't worth it is because I was putting myself in the shoes of people who saw it in 2013.
Yeah.
And I just felt that even though this season was good, or like kind of good, it didn't answer a lot of questions that I had after season 1. And for that reason, I felt like it wasn't exactly worth the wait, despite the fact that like I enjoyed it. But now, I guess, hearing your opinion, Brennan, it does make sense. It's really nice to get to see something new from the series. But I just feel like a lot of the questions that I had in season 1 weren't answered, and I'm okay with that to a certain extent, because it's like Lost, you know. Like, I don't give me all the answers in season 2, but I did feel like only more questions were raised and not a lot was answered.
That's exactly it.
And that's why I felt like 4 years was a long time to wait for not many more answers.
Right.
You want to know something? This show, it does what it does so well in the way that it makes you want to care about the show. I was kind of jaded going into it, to be honest, because we'd just come off of our season 1 binge, and it was like my 4th or 5th pass or whatever, and I was like, oh god, I'm so sick of this shit. But as soon as we got new content, it's like, oh, here are some new like questions for you to think about, and like here's a little bit of a morsel for you. Like they leave a nice little breadcrumb trail for you, where it's like, here's a little bit of stuff to tide you over. Here's a couple answers, but not as many answers as questions as we're going to give you. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really smart because it keeps you interested the whole time.
Yeah, right. I think Attack on Titan's biggest strength is that it has built an incredibly interesting world. Yeah. Right? So there's a lot of directions that they can go with it.
Right.
So even though we didn't get a ton answered, the questions that we had after season 1 necessarily weren't answered, these new questions are just as interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd say the correlation between season 1 and 2 is that the world stayed just as interesting and the mystery was always there.
Right.
But the main difference between season 1 and 2 is that they took away a lot of the action and added a lot of character development.
Right.
So we got like a look into a bunch of characters that we never got to really see in the first season, but a lot of the action was taken away. I'd go as far to say that like the coolest action we get to see is in the theme song at the beginning of the show. Everything during the show itself, there's almost no action, just a lot of conversations happening.
It's true.
Which I was fine with.
Yeah, actually. Speaking of the theme song, it also adds to the questions that you've already begun to list off. Like, why are there dinosaurs? Why are they running beside this giant Sasquatch? I don't understand what's going on. Why is the theme song not changed? It's the same as the first one, just kind of different.
Yeah,
it's by the same artist, I think, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think Attack on Titan will never have as cool of a theme song as the very first one. Like, everything else will be like a step down from the very first one.
Also, speaking of theme songs, the ending theme, oh my god, dude.
It's a great song.
Oh, it's pretty nice.
I love the
it's pretty
ending
nice.
theme.
Yeah.
It's
Holy
like
crap.
It's very nice and chill.
It feels like a Pixies song or like Smashing Pumpkins or something. Like it's a weird, like dreary, creepy riff, and it's like
I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Corgan got into anime.
I mean, he's into wrestling. Who knows?
Yeah,
that's funny.
But also the visuals during like the ending theme song, I found super duper interesting because it's like all of these like background context clues and like mythos that they're sort of building with like these tapestries and like wall carvings and stuff that depict all these like really like interesting scenes of like titans attacking villages and stuff like that, and you can't help but wonder like, oh, maybe this is like a weird secret backstory that they're never gonna like really build upon, and it's like up to you, because like during the season they never touched on anything that remotely looked like what was going on in those ending credits.
What it seemed like they were doing with the opening credits is like showing you the relation between titans and animals, because they didn't just show dinosaurs, they showed like whales,
nature.
Yes. And it's worth pointing out that the titan they show you in the opening is like the furry titan. Yeah, the beast titan, which is like as close to an animal, I guess, as the titans have gotten so far.
Right, yeah.
I guess it's trying to show, like, maybe it's trying to say they're a force of nature. Like, the world is populated by dinosaurs until they got killed off. Maybe the world is populated by humans until they get killed off, and then the titans will get killed off.
Phases,
yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah, so I it's funny that you guys mentioned that, because I had the exact same thought. Like, what is the meaning here?
Yeah.
And I took a screenshot because all of them, it's like their heart was like highlighted. It was like in bright red, right? And it was glowing. I think it was their heart. Theme? No, in the beginning.
Oh.
Like it showed all those animals, but it's more like an outline. I thought like the message was similar. It's like, these are all just creatures of the earth. Like we have this like...
Now that you mention it, there's actually some like weird heart imagery in like the ending credits too. Like because I was just so fascinated by these, because they look like weird like wall painting, cave painting stuff. And there was one that's like 3 girls eating from like the heart or like the body of like this deceased skeleton, and like a bunch of like kings in the background or something.
The fuck?
Yeah, okay. And then like in the show someone mentioned king's blood or whatever. I think this is part of Ymir's story, but
yeah,
it just got me thinking. It's like maybe they're trying to tell us a lot more about what's going on here, and then they'll never actually flesh certain things out. Yeah, and it's up to us to kind of draw conclusions.
It also means there's the potential for this show to go in so many directions, and not only that, but they could have a main plot. They could have a separate series
I
that
mean,
dives into these other things. No, I mean it as a good thing. I'm just realizing, right? Like they could easily do even
Yeah,
a
like
prequel with a prequel with this show, like talking about when the Titans first came and like the groups who were trying to survive and like went into the walls. Like there's so much.
True. They could do Attack on Titan Junior High.
The one thing that they shouldn't have done
Is that?
is the
That's
problem.
funny. It's funny because we've
Yeah.
never seen it.
Yeah,
So,
I assume
it could be
it's-
great.
I assume it's done.
yeah, I guess
assume
we
it's
all
done.
do. Yeah, which is why we haven't seen it.
That's an interesting thought, Dylan, but by the time any of that comes out, we'll probably be like 45, so
Yeah.
who
Shit.
knows what role it'll play in our
So,
lives.
what did you guys think about the fact that the second season seems to focus on like a small group of characters, like what are their names? Reiner or Rhina? It seems like is what they call him. Bertolt,
I call him Reinhardt.
Reinhardt,
Connie.
Connie, Krista slash Historia, and Ymir. Or,
Yeah.
however
Whatever.
you say that one.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel about that? And we don't really get to see
Aaron.
Armin, Mikasa, but then on a second level, we never get to fucking see Levi and Jean.
Yes,
dude.
Yes. Oh, dude. I had the same notes.
Yo.
Same notes.
Yo.
Dude, when you get to like episode 5 and we go back to the village and you see Jean, I'm like, wait, you were the most fleshed out character in the first season. Where the fuck are you
Dude,
now?
but wait,
exact same note. I was like, why would they cut out the character that they fleshed out the most?
You know
It's
what?
like, we did our job with John.
Yeah, they're like,
he can
wait.
sit back now.
We've got 20 other people
Yeah,
to do now.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think Jean is in like 2 different episodes and he
Yeah.
says like 3 lines between
Yeah.
them. It's
But also
crazy.
Levi. I mean, like, he got injured when he, like, stepped on Annie's shoulder or whatever. Like, he twisted his ankle, but
Right.
is that cause for him to not be in the season? Like, holy shit. I mean,
That was maybe the weirdest choice of this season.
that's
I
probably
think
why there's
just
zero action.
The absence of Levi
Right?
was crazy. There is a final battle where they're going to save Eren, and Levi's just not there.
Yeah.
What?
It's insane.
I mean, Erwin's
What were you up to, dog?
carrying
Like,
the weight.
Yeah. I guess we should bring that up now.
Right.
In Levi's stead is Erwin.
Where in first season we only kind of got a glimpse of his like character. Well, we knew he was like the big commander boss.
Yeah.
That he's willing to take risks and do whatever it takes, but we
I mean-
really saw what he was up to.
Now we get to see,
Whoa.
we saw his final form, which is getting his arm bitten and saying like, everybody keep going.
While he's getting his arm chopped
Dude.
off, he's like, fucking go!
That was sick.
Epic.
Oh
And not
my
just
God.
that, guys, but the fact that everybody's trying to save Eren from
Yeah.
like getting kidnapped by these giant titans.
Yeah.
And even when Eren is freed, he's still just standing there waiting to be grabbed and nobody is doing anything. And out of nowhere, Erwin comes in with one arm and grabs Eren.
Yeah.
Right,
They-
yeah.
And everybody else is there and they do nothing.
He's
Erwin
the
comes in.
true baller.
Yeah.
You can't mess with Erwin.
All right,
Yeah.
yo, pause for a second.
Right.
I noticed you guys are all calling him Ervin now.
Yeah.
And that was an argument we had last episode.
Right.
Where I was calling him Ervin and you guys said Erwin.
Yeah.
And then
Ervin.
slowly over the podcast, I changed to Erwin.
Yeah, okay. I gotta go to point counterpoint right now. So you called him Ervin on the last podcast, and
Yes.
we were all like iffy about it. But you also called Bertolt Bernard,
Bernard!
and we went through the whole podcast calling him Bernard. Did
I actually?
Yeah, you did.
Good old
Shit.
birdie.
Funny, yeah.
All right.
Oh, man. Bertolt.
Fucking jokes.
Erwin.
Oh yeah, so sorry. Back to the question at hand. Like, what did
Right.
you feel about this season? Going into the perspective of those 5 characters, like in Utgard Castle and all that stuff. What'd you think?
I thought it was really cool. I like that we got a lot more exposition. We kind of got to, you know, really flesh out some of these other people more. Like, especially when it comes to, like, Ymir and Krista and that whole, like, plot that involves them. You didn't realize that they'd be so important, right?
Right.
In the first season, they just kind of, like, pop in and pop out. And it's like, oh, maybe they're just novelty characters. But, like, once you run out of twists to throw with the main cast, it's like, who are you going to fall back on? These
Right.
people you weren't paying attention to. Bam, Berthold's the fucking colossal titan.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jumping the gun.
Can I have a quick aside? Because in the first season, I didn't notice that Ymir existed to any extent.
Dude, I was just about to say that. I actually wrote as a note, was Ymir in the first season? I guess so.
I guess so. And I saw a screenshot, I think, from Attack on Titan Junior High, and she's definitely in that. Now, I don't doubt she's in the manga, like, in the background,
Yeah.
and then she, like, comes to appearance, like, when the arc gets to this point in the manga. But when I started watching the season, and I was in like the first half of the season especially, it made me angry. I'm like, who is this character? Why are you here? Why are you tacking on this character that, from my knowledge, and I just seen the first season, was not there at all? I don't even think they said her name once in the first season.
No, they did. I feel like they did.
She was hanging out with Marco.
Oh,
that was
God.
the issue.
Yeah.
She did see him get eaten. We saw Marco get eaten in season 2, guys.
We did, yeah.
We finally got the payoff.
So I wanted to talk about that too, because not only did we see Marco get eaten, but we didn't see his face when he got eaten in the shot.
It's true.
So they still kept Marco a mystery.
Yeah, we're never going to know.
I wanted to know what Sean's reaction was to that so badly when you saw it, because they didn't show Marco still, even though they showed him.
It's like they showed them reacting to Marco,
Right.
but they didn't show Marco. And the thing is, like, we see him get quote-unquote eaten, but his body's still there. It's only his upper lip that's gone in the show. That's the biggest mystery. I don't give a fuck where the Titans came from. Show me what happened to Marco.
One of the mustachioed Titans that just needed stash power, so he just ate his upper lip.
Yeah, right?
That's how they work. We don't know how they work.
They ate Marco's upper lip?
No, when he's dead, when we see his body, it's just like he's making this weird little face.
Wait,
his
I don't even
teeth
remember
are, like,
seeing
pointing-
his face.
They show his face. He looks like gaunt as fuck, and his like teeth are showing, especially his upper row teeth.
I thought they didn't show him at all, which was
he doesn't look mangled.
Really
he just looks malnourished, and he's got
it looks like he died in the most mysterious way, as if they sucked the life force out of him. Which, who knows? Maybe that's like a revelation coming up. I don't know.
Damn,
Marco, love you, dog.
Polo.
So Ymir, I wasn't sure if she was in the first season. I actually just called her the girl with freckles the first time I saw her on screen. I was like, who is this?
I actually remembered Ymir, but it's only because I've seen the first season so many damn times that you start to latch on to useless details, where it's like, oh, this person is friends with Krista and also is mean to Sasha. Okay, she's a person. But then she never comes back, or like we don't see a lot of her.
Right.
So I did remember her, but I was like, I never expected her to be of any importance. Like, it's just... I like that, though. The curveballs that they throw with these seemingly unimportant characters. Because, like, okay, if we can... We'll talk about this more, I guess, but Bertholdt being the Colossal Titan, that was fucking insane to me, dude. Just, like, the fact that the Colossal Titan is, like, the flagship character of this series. On all the merchandise, on all the
you're right.
prints, on all the, like, everything. It's always the Colossal Titan, even though he shows up twice in the first season.
Right.
He is the thing, and it seems like he's so important, and he's such a big, scary, mean thing. And then it's just fucking our boy Birdie.
It's a loser.
It's
It's a loser.
What I think is more... like way cooler than the fact that he's the Colossal Titan and Rainer or Reiner or whatever, is the other what is his
Armor
Titan?
Titan.
The Armor Titan, is how it's revealed to you in the show.
Oh my god,
dude, it's so good. So
I love that.
Happens almost off screen in a side conversation.
Part of it is literally off screen.
Yeah.
The big revelation is off screen. It's a shot on Hanji, I think.
Yeah, or like it's everybody
Hanji's walking away.
And then it's a wide shot,
Yeah, they're all standing on top of the wall, and like Hanji's leading everybody away, and Reina's like, "Hey, by the way, Aaron, I'm the Armored Titan."
Bertholdt is the Colossal Titan.
I have the quote. He's just like, "Hey, can we talk to you for a second?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. What's up?" So he's like, "So 5 years ago, we compromised Walmaria and launched an attack on humanity. I'm the Armored Titan. He's the Colossal." And he's like, "Wait, did I hear that right?"
I think our reaction is Bertholdt's reaction, where he's like, "What are you doing?"
Why are you telling it to him? You're ruining everything.
Are we doing this now?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. But I guess this shows you something that I found super interesting about the season, is that Reiner has this like duality of the mind.
Oh my
like
God.
he
I have
is
so much to
totally
say.
fucked up. He thinks he's part of like the scout regiment, and he loves them and is devoted to them, but also at the same time he wants to get rid of humanity and kill them all. And maybe in this moment where he tells Aaron all this stuff, he's like a bit of both. He like considers Aaron like a true friend and a comrade, but then he also that leads him to say the stuff he has to say.
Okay, so like 90% of my notes are just about that entire thing.
Okay.
I feel like I have so much to say, but I feel like that's fucking interesting as all hell, first of all. But before we dive too deep into that, like, what were your guys' thoughts on Reiner being the Armored Titan? Did it like make sense to you? Because I had that moment again, that same moment I had with Annie, where I was like, oh yeah, they look alike.
Right.
How did I not call this?
So, like, remember we talked about season 1, and I actually figured out that it was Annie, I think, before you guys did the first
definitely.
time you watched it. So I wasn't that surprised. But this revelation was, and I gotta applaud, like, the creators, because that was, like, the craziest way to do a reveal. It wasn't just, like, this big, giant, like, show-stopping reveal and the episode ends.
Right.
Yeah.
They just drop it on a wide shot, and it makes you say, wait, am I hearing this right?
Yeah.
And that's almost what you'd imagine any human, like, in the Scout Regiment. Like, you're just gonna tell me like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost as if like I was sitting on the subway and people are talking about Attack on Titan across from me, and they're like, "Hey, by the way, like Reiner is the Armored Titan," and I'm like, "Wait, did I just fucking hear that?"
It's like a spoiler.
Yeah, it's almost like the show spoiled itself, which is great. It's so good.
And you probably reacted the same way, where you stand up and go, "What the fuck, dude? How do you do that?"
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
And that's another thing, like, it wasn't their plan because Birdie is shocked.
Yeah.
It's not like he's like, yeah, we're gonna tell him low key. Birdie's just like, dude.
Yeah. So like it probably is because Reiner's like half crazy now.
I think that's a really good point. And it is clear that he does sympathize with the humans to some degree, because when they're held up in that castle, and I think he throws a Titan out the which was so sick. What a badass. He throws him out of the tower.
I didn't know they could be that small.
Yeah.
Right?
He's just like a big dude.
We'll get to that.
So what I was going to say was, Krista bandages him up. And then she's like, oh, like, I hope everything's, like, okay. And then he's like, yeah, like, it'll do. And then his inner monologue is, marry me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just, like, says that
That's one of the
Krista.
funniest parts of the season.
Yeah, it's like the ongoing.
So it's clear there's,
Reiner
like,
loves Krista a little bit.
There's some weird duality to Reiner.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say about how the Titans are so small at Utgard Castle is because I think we're supposed to believe, or at least I believe, that all the Titans we're seeing there around that castle have been created from humans in the surrounding villages or village. And I think maybe they're so small because they're like just becoming
little
Titans.
baby Titans.
They haven't grown into full
Do you
form.
think they can grow?
Okay, so like,
I think like maybe at the very start of their life, they're like human size and they like get slowly bigger or something like that.
Right, it's like babies all start off the same size, but then some turn out like Shaq.
Yeah, something I have to say about that is because Connie's mom is almost definitely a Titan.
Right,
and maybe
she
she
is.
grew from like the abdomen first and her legs and arms didn't grow because she can't get up. Remember
So-
that?
Or like she
That's-
turned into a Titan in her home. And so
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's one of the
destroyed
big
all around
reveals of this entire season is that like Titans definitively come from humans.
Yes.
This fucking
was
blew
my
my
theory
mind.
in the first episode.
Yeah.
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah. Also, Connie's mom, it's weird because like the way she's just kind of like splayed out on top of her house looks like she dropped from the heavens.
Right.
So either Titans spawn from the sky and if they hit the ground and survive, then they keep going.
Right.
Or, like you said, they probably just grow randomly. And I guess her legs weren't developed enough, so she's just like, bleh.
Yeah.
Also, she talked. Not the first talking Titan we see this season, but when she sees
does-
Connie, she says, "Welcome home."
Wait, does she?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like very like yeah.
But
Oh, what the fuck?
yeah, and also
It's pretty cool,
Yeah, it's
actually,
pretty. It's
yeah.
pretty
Huh,
great.
How did I not notice that?
That was really interesting. The other revelation that we kind of prophesized a bit last podcast:
yeah.
Titans in the wall. The first time when they showed that face, I was actually super stoked. I was like, oh. This wasn't like a weird fever dream, because like the way they just kind of like drop it on you at the end of the first season with a little guitar, bam, and it's just like
Yeah.
Titans in the wall. I was kind of left like, is this even happening? Is this
Right.
like a real thing, or is it just like a hey, look, Titans?
Something
Yeah.
that's really funny about our first episode, like the podcast that we did about season 1 of Attack on Titan, is the fact that we talk about the 10 top students in the year, like the 104th training regimen or whatever.
Yeah.
And we say, oh, who the fuck are those characters we forgot about? Oh yeah, Rainer and Bernard.
And Bernard.
And we're like, who the fuck are those people? What jokers? Like, forget about them.
Yeah, yeah.
And they end up being the most important people of this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, but we're like, hey, Oh shit, I forget what I was going to say. Something about the walls.
Titans being in the walls.
Yeah, Titan being... Yeah.
You said last episode, I don't know if we did talk about Titans being in the walls, but Sean said, what if the Titans built the walls?
Right, yeah.
And it turned out to be something to that persuasion. Like,
Seems
they're inside, and then there's a wall
increasingly
built
likely.
around them.
Which is also crazy because there's people who know about the true nature of Titans to a certain extent, i.e. the wall people.
That's what I was going to bring up, actually, when I just forgot what I was saying, is that we totally discounted them. Brennan was, like, laughing his ass off
Because they
about
got
them.
smushed.
Because they were super funny,
Yeah.
He was just like, ha ha ha, these idiots.
But now they're, like, geniuses on the whole thing.
They know something we don't.
One thing he said that was really important to me, he said, don't let it come in contact with direct sunlight.
Oh, yeah.
Or else I guess it's going to come
It's
alive.
gonna wake up,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's in the wall and it's only a small hole, it can't move. Because they do say in the first season that the Titans get their power from the sun. That's why they can't move at night.
Yes.
That's
But
why it's all safe.
there are some who do move at night.
At Utgard Castle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe when they're just born.
Maybe because they're still
something like
human.
Maybe because they still have, like,
they're
the
still,
energy
like,
of being
transitioning.
human
Yeah,
before that
shit.
wears off.
Something like that. Whole religion thing was interesting because that seemed to be a theme in the first couple episodes that they then immediately dropped, like religion versus like this like secular society.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like put down in the first season. You think they're like these ridiculous people.
They just come off as crazy.
And then suddenly they have all this insight into the Titans' true nature.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
they're
there's-
keeping it secret, which is
Yeah.
even worse because it's like, what the fuck what's your plan? Are you trying to see humanity die?
Right. And they try to make that priest feel guilty. They show him how people are suffering. And he truly does feel bad. And yet he won't give them all the information.
Right.
And that's so puzzling, right? There's so much more there. And we don't know about it yet. Because in the end, he only gives them a tidbit of information. He said, we were told by our leader to watch this person. I think it being Ymir.
Krista.
Oh, okay. It was
Krista,
Krista?
yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was Ymir.
She's the chosen
Okay,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all like we really get. So like there's way more to explore on that front too. Like what this religion means, how it started out, and how they know so much about the Titans and its origin.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
So Krista is the chosen one.
Yeah, let's talk about that a bit.
Historia is her
Historia,
actual
yeah.
name. She has, like, the blood of the king,
Whatever that means.
or royal blood. I don't know if it's, like, the same king that's governing the place that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because in our first episode about season 1, Brennan actually referred to Krista as the goddess.
The goddess.
Yeah.
It's a joke, and it turned out that she is super important.
That's really
Yeah.
funny.
Something that I actually liked a lot, I think it was like episode 10. It was when they kind of get into Ymir's backstory and it kind of sheds some light on why she's so attached to Krista. I like that whole dynamic, first of all. I think it really brings up a lot of interesting things, and it makes you think about everybody's objectives and their stance on whatever is going on in the world.
Right.
Because right now we don't know actually what anyone is really up to, besides the humans being like they just want to get through this ordeal and survive somehow.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to Titan people, it seems like different people have different motivations, and like we're getting these little tidbits. And that one episode with where it flashes back to Ymir and how she used to be, like she was like a street child basically, and I guess she got taken in by these people who either are Titans or worship Titans or something. She was said to have like precious blood or something.
Yeah, they said she had the blood of the king.
Yeah,
or something,
and
right?
then
they
they
were
got
like a cult.
Yeah.
right, but then they got persecuted by. I'm not sure if it was the Wall people or some other people.
I feel like this town that we saw her flashback in is totally outside the walls.
Oh, yeah.
Someplace else.
This
that
is like
is
100
either-
years ago or something. Because
or-
like
yeah, it was like 60 years
60,
ago. She
yeah,
says
yeah.
that she assumes she was underground for 60 years. Yeah.
right, yeah, because that's what happens is like they all got like fucked up basically, and
Yeah.
when she got her second lease on life after becoming a Titan,
Yeah.
she kind of abandoned that idea where she's like, okay, I'm not going to sacrifice myself for people anymore just to feel needed. And then when she's living her life as just like a normal street urchin in present day, she hears about Krista also being like an abandoned child or
Yeah.
whatever, who's been like forced into the cadets, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna go find this person because she's so much like me. And Krista still has that self-sacrificial mentality where she's like, I'm gonna give myself up because that's what makes me feel valuable. The only way I can feel valuable is if I die for someone or for something. And I guess Ymir's kind of at odds with that, but she can also relate to that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was a nice relationship to see develop. And I mean, I think one of the things that was missing from the first season that we talked about was like a lack of character development. A lot of these relationships, and a lot of the relationships between characters felt kind of flat or forced.
Right.
But seeing kind of Ymir's background story and how she relates to Krista and that relationship, it felt a lot more like real than other relationships, I guess, in the show.
Less hollow, even.
Her backstory and her relationship to Historia or Krista, I mean Ymir's relationship to Krista, is an exact parallel to Eren and Mikasa. It's just like they are the Eren and Mikasa of this season.
Of the Titan
That's
world.
interesting. Yeah.
Or of the Titan world, sure.
Kinda,
See, that's something that I also really liked was about by episode 11 or so when they're running away from the scout regiment and they're trying to kidnap Eren. I was like genuinely conflicted because I was like, I don't know who I'm rooting for here because they just flip the perspective so much because you see the other side of things and you know that the Titans aren't really acting because they're like out of malice or because they want to or like they've got bloodlust. It almost seems like everyone has to do something that they don't want to. Like Berthold, like we mentioned, he's a loser. He's like a whiny little crybaby. But the thing is, when we see that and we compare it to this colossal Titan that we've seen, the image where it's like, oh my god, this daunting force that's crushing humanity, backing them into the corner, is actually just this scared little boy. And he's like, are we doing it right now, Reinhardt? Like, it makes me feel bad almost. Like, why? And then even when Reinhardt's protecting Eren and Berthold with his hands, and all the scouts are trying to break in.
When they're trying to recapture Eren.
Why did you betray us? Weren't we your friends? Like, how did you look us in the eye and say all this shit to us like you understood us or anything like that? And he's in tears, and he's like, someone has to spill the blood. Someone has to do it.
Like,
I didn't ask for this.
It's like everybody in the show is being used by someone.
And it even seems like we saw this. It's like Ymir's motivations aren't even in line with Reinhardt and Berthold's.
I mean, they didn't even know each other were Titans. It's not even like they were on the same side. Ymir killed their friend.
Oh, yeah. Wait, does that give her an ability? Because I feel like she says she's able to turn back into a human because she ate his body or something like that.
Here's the thing. They mentioned this offhand in a sentence. I think they established a rule where it's like, once a human becomes a Titan, the only way they can turn back is after they consume another human. Because they say, like, they were mentioning it. They're like, oh, even Eren had to. And this is actually, I think, when they flash back to, the scene where Marco is getting eaten off screen again. And I'm pretty sure Marco's being eaten by, like, I don't know, maybe Eren, maybe someone else.
You think?
I think so.
I don't think Eren's eaten a human.
No, Eren. They definitely said even Eren had to eat a person.
I don't remember
this
at all.
So it's like, I don't think they have any control over it, but once they do, they probably have at least the chance to turn human again. They definitely established this.
Interesting.
Okay.
But it was actually it was very low key, which kind of bothered me. It was like, I wish they drew more attention to this, but that's kind of what the whole show has been doing so far, where it's like they throw you nuggets and they're like, make of it what you will, kind of thing.
Right. Something you just reminded me of is something that I found so lame but funny.
What?
Is that when the people are being held up at Utgard Castle, and then they're saved.
Love saying that.
I know. Yeah.
Wait, let's say it in unison. 3, 2, 1. Utgard. Okay, keep going.
When they're saved by, like, Mikasa and Eren and, like, all those people, Eren rides in. We get, like, a sick action shot of him, like, flipping around and slicing a Titan's neck. And he's like, oh, my first ODM kill. Like, you fucking loser. It's your first kill. We made it, like, through a season and a half. You're finally getting a kill. And then at the very end of the season, what's her face? Krista Historia does like a very similar thing.
gets her
She
one
actually
too.
gets a sick shot. She looks like she's like fucking Sailor Moon transforming in the air.
So cool.
She kills a Titan. She's like, my first ODM kill. I'm like, you guys are. How are you guys the top 10 students of the year? Get out of
I
here.
excused Krista's one,
Yeah.
because she's more like innocent and sweet, but Aaron's like so aggressive, like I want
I'm
to
gonna kill them all.
Took you that long, bro?
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, for the record though, his kill count's pretty high
yeah, and Titan form.
in Titan form.
Sure. Yeah.
Probably gets more satisfaction punching their skulls in than giving them a little sweep and chop. But
Right.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he never got to plug the hole in the wall with his like crystallized body,
No,
right?
yeah,
that
that was
never
one of the
happened.
things
because
right?
there was no hole.
Yeah.
Because
What?
yeah,
There was no hole in Walmaria. Remember,
That's the
they
whole thing.
thought there was a hole. So
Oh,
the plan was Aaron was going to go and crystallize.
Oh, okay, that's what that was. I thought when she was mentioning that she was talking about the crumbling wall with like the Titan behind it, that she wanted him to like fill that gap so that sunlight could never touch the Titan. You know what I'm talking about?
no.
Yeah, I thought
no,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
that was happening.
That,
Okay.
no.
honestly, that was a little confusing because I was like, wait, what's going on here? But then I
Yeah.
realized everyone's looking for a hole that doesn't exist, so that the hole that they showed you in that image where she's thinking about what would happen if the plan went well
Yeah.
isn't
Isn't a real
happening.
hole.
It's not a real thing. Mm-hmm. And that's part of where the confirmation of humans being Titans comes
Yeah.
from.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, they can just
They-
spread up from a village.
Had to be within the wall already.
Yeah.
So that actually just reminded me of a point, just like a quick note, and it's also a callback to our previous episode where you talked about kind of like, we said Armin's a genius, but you're also like, he's not that much of a genius because he just says like common sense stuff and then everyone's like, oh, you're such a genius.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of when they're talking about the plan to get Aaron to crystallize and plug the hole. Armin's like, so we'll travel at night because Titans can't move at night. And they're like, right, you're such a genius. I'm like, wait, dude. Like,
We've
that is
established
very
this.
obvious.
Everyone was briefed on that
yeah,
information.
yeah.
Oh, too good.
You really are a genius,
But
Armin.
I gotta say, Armin did kind of win me over this season because he does something really cool in the last episode or last two episodes.
Right, yeah.
When he rides up to Reiner, who's covering the people with his hands.
Yeah.
And he says like, or he thinks the only way to like distract them enough is to fuck with their minds and tell them about how Annie's getting tortured.
that was smart.
Right. Oh my god,
like
that was
they're
sick.
pulling no punches on Annie's body right now. She's recovering and getting like sliced and diced, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, Armin's smart enough to cue in that Reinhardt is having this weird personality crisis where it's like he's lived too long as a cadet.
Right.
And he doesn't like half of him is actually the Reinhardt that they know and love, and half of him is the Titan that infiltrated their ranks to kill them in the first place. Mm-hmm. So he's like gonna pull those strings when he sees him.
Yeah. Initially, when he landed on Reiner's body and was started to do that to Berthold to like mess with him, I was initially mad because I was like, why aren't you fighting him? And then he started to talk and do it, and I started to get it, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
And that's what leads to Aaron being saved.
Right,
Because like
exactly.
the grip, I guess, loosens and Erwin swoops in, right?
Oh no, the way the grip loosens is because Erwin leads a bunch of other Titans to come at
And
at
eat him
Reiner
away,
from
yeah.
every direction.
Oh, right.
So then
Yes,
he has
yeah.
to take his hand off, but then to distract Berthold is when...
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
He's such a psycho. I love Erwin, man. He's so sick.
Dude.
There's actually a shot
he's
where
unbelievable.
there's like a frame where he legit just looks like Napoleon on his horse, just pointing his sword. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, it's the coolest thing.
When
now he just
he
has
gets
one arm.
carried away and he's still like leading the charge as he's pulled away, that is like the most awesome
Oh my
scene
God.
ever.
It's such a cool shot because it's like it's zoomed in on his face kind of, but it looks like he's being dragged away at 200 miles per hour.
Right.
Yeah. It's both at once.
It's like you know he's done, but it's like, oh, he's so cool. Bye.
Yeah.
yeah.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
So good.
Another thing I want to mention now that we circled back to talking about Berthold and Berthold.
Bertolt.
Bertolt.
Oh, I'm going to go back with Birdie just 'cause
Birdie?
I don't want to
Yeah,
say
call
the
him
name.
Birdie.
I don't want to call him Bernard again. So I think this season did a lot of good stuff, and there was a lot less melodrama, which was awesome.
But like vertical lines.
But you know,
There were
I didn't even think about that until episode 9 when they're talking in the trees when Aaron's first captured and his limbs are like cut off.
when they're having their good, bad, and the ugly moment.
Yes,
they're
because
staring off.
that's when the action lines come back and everybody's screaming at each other again.
Yeah.
It's like in episode 9, I think it takes that long.
But there is one other really, really funny part part of melodrama, and that's when, or it just felt forced. Okay, so when Eren transforms and he fights Reiner, they're fighting, and Eren's getting mad and like just more and more mad, and then while he's fighting, he says like, Reiner, I wished I could be half as strong as you. You are my hero. And I'm like, what?
Wait.
He was your hero, dude?
Yeah, what did I miss?
I don't remember. Wait, did you watch the dub for this episode?
Yes.
I didn't watch the dub, and I don't think that was
maybe it wasn't in the
directly.
sub.
Yeah,
but dude, it was so funny because like it's like
mean,
while
same
Eren was
idea.
fighting, it just shows his real face and what he's thinking
in the
And
flash.
he says,
yeah.
"You are my hero."
Yeah.
I think
How is he your hero?
I
Right?
think definitely the same idea was in the sub, where it's like, oh, he looked up to him, and it's like he was kind of like the big brother of the entire cadet like year or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like just insane that he could betray him. Also, I like that he went full jujitsu on him.
When?
When they're fighting,
They're fighting,
he
yeah,
starts-
and he-
that
Oh,
was
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
He didn't like just try to beat him silly, and that cool flashback to Annie.
Teaching
and
them the moves and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was cool.
awesome.
Whipping
Really
out
well
the
done.
BJJ. Yeah.
The BJJ.
Actually, that reminds me of another thing. Eren, like the worst detective ever. So when season 1, Armin figures out that Annie is the Titan, and Eren's like, "What? She was our comrade." And then they share a bunch of damning evidence, and Eren's like, "What? Like it can't be." And then again, Reiner and Birdie drop that they're Titans.
Yeah.
And
Before that, when they're briefing him, kind of thing.
yeah, and then so we're all shocked as the audience, and then Eren says, "Damn, I didn't want to believe what I was hearing yesterday." And then it flashes back to them discussing a bunch of damning evidence about how two of them are Titans. I'm like, dude, how are you shocked then? Armin figured it out again.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's ridiculous.
It's so funny.
So
I
that
hope
was
they
like
keep
real
doing
funny
this.
to me.
Yeah.
I hope they continue with this. Every time they out a new Titan, they're like, here's a bunch of shit that happened.
Yeah.
That clearly points to them.
We haven't talked about the furry Titan.
Yeah. Let's chat about
This
that.
is a weird character.
It makes him sound so much more friendly when you call him the furry Titan.
Yeah. What do they call him in the show?
Beast Titan.
The Beast Titan. Okay.
I
nice.
just called him Sasquatch.
Because he can talk.
Which, like, in full sentences.
He can instruct other Titans on what to do. He can say, like, don't attack, do attack.
Which is
right? Do you remember
crazy.
this from the first episode?
Yeah.
Because he instructs them to lay off of Mike, and then he instructs them to kill Mike.
Yeah.
Also, he steals the ODM gear off Mike.
He does a little pinch.
Yeah,
And he's like, oh,
pinches it off.
this is ingenious.
But just like the thruster part, not like the rest.
yeah.
I guess the most important part is the thruster part.
Yeah.
Because for some reason they might need that.
They're going to build giant Titan versions and zip around.
Maybe.
It's almost like they're not as advanced technologically, even despite the fact that he seems like he's like hyper intelligent.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is such an interesting gadget. How innovative of you humans. I'll take
Right.
this back
Yeah.
to look at it later.
It's not like he's like, oh, this is good. I'll bring it back. His
He's
language,
surprised,
right?
yeah.
His indicates some like high degree of intelligence.
Right.
And also the fact that he's so calm about everything going on. It's like Mikei's freaking out because he's getting slowly eaten, and Beast Titan's just like, oh, do you not understand? I thought I was speaking a language that you could understand.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
It's fucking creepy.
Oh, yeah. It's terrifying.
I was wondering, his command of the Titans, is that like he has control, or is he just a leader? Because one thing I was thinking about was he said he asked them to stop, and then one of the Titans keeps trying to attack Mike, and then he says, "I don't think you heard me," and then he kills that Titan.
Oh,
Right,
right.
yeah.
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 I
So
guess-
I was wondering about what that meant.
I guess he's just a leader. He doesn't have the same power that Eren seems to have now.
Yeah,
I mean,
Oh,
I didn't even make that connection until right now. I was like, oh, wait, Eren can also do that.
Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, like, they made it seem like Eren was really special when, like, Reiner was saying, like, oh my god, I can't believe the one who has this
coordinate.
power.
Yeah, the
there you go.
coordinate.
What a
weird
an
term,
awkward
yeah.
term. Yeah, give him a cooler name. But
I wonder
yeah,
if they're
it's
going to
like-
change that for the English version whenever that drops in a
maybe.
few weeks.
Yeah, hopefully.
a
Here's
different
hoping.
word. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, oh, I can't believe the one happened to be the worst person it could possibly be. So maybe Beast Titan doesn't have the same
exact
command.
power.
Yeah.
Also, something that dawned on me, like, between the week that I finished this and us recording this, is that, you know, when Eren gets the injection from his father,
Right.
What if it's an injection to be able to be the coordinate? What if it's not even to get the power to turn into a Titan? He just had that inherently or something.
So there's like two, and one of them is the Beast Titan, and one also
well,
speaking
it seems like now that Dylan brought that up, it seems like they were trying to hint at something. Like the first episode, you see the Beast Titan control Titans, but because he's a leader, they don't always actually listen to him. And in the final episode, we see Eren control them, but he actually controls them. Like
like mentally.
Yeah,
like,
he
they
controls
don't have a
what they
choice.
do.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Eren's dad, do you think that was him, shirtless and ripped, riding on the shoulder of Furry Titan?
At the very end of the show?
No. Yes, initially I did, but then I went back to season 1 to see what his dad looked like, and they do look different.
He did have glasses, and it has been years. He could have gotten jacked in the woods.
And got blonde hair, though.
I mean...
Eren's dad had brown hair.
He had long brown hair, but, you know, people go through phases.
Yeah.
It's true. They go through phases, and the show seems to have a thing where it says characters' hair color is slightly different than it actually is. Like, it can appear brown, but they'll call it black. Stuff like that.
Or blonde.
Yeah, or blonde. Yeah.
So maybe it isn't, because when I watched that episode, and at the end, I actually said, son of a bitch. Like, the dad.
Yeah.
Also,
I immediately didn't think it was the dad, so I had an opposite reaction, but then I grew into wanting
it
to believe that it was the dad.
It probably isn't, to be honest, because it seemed like Eren's dad like really, really wanted Eren to have a fighting chance against the Titans, so he gave him a shot / gave him some kind of power to be able to do that. So why he would be riding on the shoulder of like what seems to be the leader of that side of this battle, it's like it doesn't make a lot of sense. But we don't know.
He also says not yet, eh?
Yeah.
Which seems like
so
he
weird.
wants them to reach that wall that he's standing on top of with the Titans.
So they're at Wall Rose then, or no? Sorry, they're at Wall Maria. Yeah,
is like the outermost wall,
the
right?
outermost.
Yeah, it seems like he's standing there waiting for like humanity to reach that feat of coming back to that wall, and then they can go to the next step of the process or whatever.
Also, wait, the Beast Titan doesn't really do all that much. He just kind of saunters through, introduces himself, climbs a wall, throws a couple Titans, and then keeps going. And then he climbs another wall, and that's the end.
Right.
He's almost like in Star Wars, the first Star Wars, like the Darth Vader kind of character. Like, he doesn't do like a ton. Like, there's no huge like lightsaber battle. You see him like quite a bit, and then you see like at the end he's like in the space battle.
Yeah.
But like we get a lot from Darth Vader in like Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
And then maybe this guy riding him is kind of like the Emperor, where he might be the kind of like a grand leader, but the Beast Titan is more of like the enforcer who actually runs the Titans more frequently.
So
You know
the
what I mean?
humans that can turn into Titans seem to think that there's no future inside the walls because everybody's going to die and something's going to happen. Maybe
Right.
the walls are all going to open up and the Titans that are inside are going to eat everybody.
Yeah.
Who knows? It seems like they only think that there's a future outside the walls, but they seem to need Historia because of her blood.
Yeah.
And they need Eren.
Because he is
But,
the core.
but I think they only need Eren to take him away from being inside the walls because he seems to be the future inside the walls, which is
Right.
what Ymir says in the last episode. Like, I see now there is a future inside the walls because Eren is the coordinate.
But every
so he's
time
a threat.
Yes, a threat, which is why they're
Yeah.
trying to take him.
Every time they say inside the walls, though, they are just referring to humanity. And it's like, humanity can exist outside the walls. It's just that there's Titans out there trying to eat them. So it's like, I feel like it might not even necessarily have to do with the walls per se. It's
Right.
just like humanity is on its way to being wiped off the map, or it's like their time is up kind of thing.
Right.
And like being a human right now is a losing hand. So you're gonna have to side up with the Titans one way or another kind of thing. But seeing Eren's like determination and everybody's like sort of will to survive
Right.
can
But-
bring pause to Ymir.
I get what you're saying, but Ymir, like, throws that into question.
Yeah.
Because she's a Titan, so even if she was inside the walls, she could potentially survive.
Right.
But she wants to get the fuck out because she sees it as being, like, dangerously unsafe.
Also, it kind of plays into the whole like oppression dynamic that we saw beforehand, where it's like We even saw it with Annie, but we didn't know what was going on. It's like people will hate you for what you are. So fuck them. Don't stick around with them. Let's get out of there as soon as we can, kind of thing. And it's like, why would Ymir want to be with like a race of people who like fundamentally hate her and don't trust her for what she is? I mean, so like that's the only reason she'd want to. Well, the only reason she'd want to be there is to be with Krista. But if Krista doesn't care and is willing to come along with her, then you know it might be better in the long run. But then she has that whole like inner battle where it's like, which is better, bringing Krista to the Titans or leaving her with the humans who may or may not be on their way to Oblivion?
Right. Sorry, remind me what happens at the very end. Like, do Reiner and Bertold to get away? They keep running away?
They get away, and Ymir joins them.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, she chooses to, like, leave Krista behind.
The last shot that we see them on, they're lying on top of a wall.
Yeah.
And they're just, like, hanging out and talking. And it's funny because, like, they seem like good guys in that moment. They're like, thanks for saving us.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I even believe that they were kind of good guys in a way, because it's like, when you see the other side, when you see Mikasa, who has, like, no mercy. She's such a savage. As soon as she sees like an opportunity, when Bertholdt and Reinhardt are kind of hesitating, she tries to cut Bertholdt in half. No questions asked. She's like, I'm gonna fucking annihilate you right now. Because you're a threat to Eren. And it's like, Eren is the most important thing in the world to her, but it also makes her a psychopath.
Yeah, that's true.
Where it's like, there's no gray area. If you're either with her or against her. And if you're against her, you're getting cut in half.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful badass. She says to Ymir, there's only so many lives that I actually care about. My enemies made deciding that easy 6 years ago. So, you're mistaken to seek any compassion from me.
Rough.
Fucking wrecked.
Rough.
So speaking of Mikasa, she seems to, like, tell Eren that she loves him. Actually, she's about to say that sentence, and he cuts her off.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should talk about that ending sequence.
Kind of a blue ball.
It features whatever soldier that is that let Eren's mom die.
Captain Hannes.
Captain Hannes.
Oh, man.
He has that moment with Armin and Mikasa where he gives them the rations and they're just all chewing, and it pans up to the sky.
Right.
And he says, like, I want things to go back to normal, and the only way to do that is to get Eren back. I'd love to be a soldier that just drinks all day.
Yeah, he said, like when people thought that I was just like a drunkard, that was great. That was a great time because we had peace, right?
Yeah. And then Eren is forced to watch him die.
The same way.
At the hand of the Titan that killed his mom.
Is there another blood fountain? I can't remember.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Dude, it actually is like the first time there's like more of a blood fountain again since like the mom died.
Yeah.
It's like pretty sad. Like I know we don't see a lot of him, but I do think he still represents, I guess, any ties that Eren had to his old life, like in addition to Mikasa and Armin. And I guess he's kind of a father figure in that way.
Yeah, without a doubt.
To Eren. And it's clear that he wants to do right by Eren in that moment. Like, he said, like, I'm going to avenge your mother. And then he starts fighting this Titan, right? And so to see him die is like pretty heartbreaking.
And he's like having like a good time, like trying to kick its ass, and he's like smiling and shit.
Dude, he does actually. I think the creators didn't do this super well because he's fucking kicking ass through that whole bit, and then suddenly he just loses. Like,
That's the thing,
he's like
though.
slicing and dicing. I'm like, Captain Hannes, go for it, buddy.
As soon as, like, in the episodes prior where he's kind of talking them up and they're having their moment where they're eating their rations and whatever, I was like, he's dead. He's gone.
Right.
Like, he has to die now. Now that you've done this, he can't survive. Like, and as soon as you see the mother-eating Titan show up with his big smile, it's like, okay, I know how this is going to go. That was the only part of the show that I found predictable, where I was like, okay, I guess so long, Hannes. It's been nice knowing you.
Right.
Did you still feel like moved in a way by it? Because like
I was so sad.
Yeah, like I found this death way more moving than like his mother's death, just because like we've gotten to know Hannes like a bit, right?
Yeah,
so like I did feel something when he died.
I think it's really cool because leading up to his death, like he's kicking the Titan's ass. Eren is like biting the shit out of his hands, trying to transform, and his fingers aren't even there.
Yeah,
right.
And he's just
still not
chomping on them,
fully recovered
and it looks
yet.
like, and the sound effects they use are like brutal. It's
Crunchy.
really gross.
Ugh.
Yeah, but what he says is like, if I can't transform right now and save him, everything that's happened over the past 5 years is for nothing.
Yeah.
And then he immediately dies.
Oh my god.
And so it's like heartbreaking in that moment.
Also-
and then Aaron laughs like he's a crazy person.
Crazy Aaron is the best, dude.
Yeah.
I love it when they're having their little showdown moment in the trees, and Aaron just gets all wide-eyed and starts yelling at Reinhardt and Berthold, and then again when he just starts crying and laughing, and you can just see him losing it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was awesome. I love that. I thought that was actually really well done. It's like, yeah, that's kind of how I feel right now. Like, this is a joke. Like,
Yeah.
how is this even happening?
Like his whole life is a joke and everybody he knows was just about to die
Yeah.
right there. When Aaron first punches the Titan that killed his mom in the hand, and they like their fists meet kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think was happening there?
I was like, this is like kind of like a weird, like, when you back an animal into a corner and it has nothing left, so it goes all out. Aaron is the animal in this situation where he's like, I'm just gonna punch you with my hand,
Right.
and see what happens because I hate you.
You didn't have a theory about like what was happening in that moment?
I didn't think something cool was gonna happen. I thought
Right.
maybe he'd flash into a Titan all of a
Okay.
sudden, kind of like when he was protecting them from the cannonball that one time.
Sure.
I thought, yeah, if anything, that
I
happened,
just
but-
like, it just seemed like a Super Saiyan moment to me.
Yeah.
Like it felt like he had unlocked something, whether he knew it or not. Kind of like when Goku went Super Saiyan for the first time against like Frieza, although that was
Sure.
a little more drawn out.
Yeah.
But like, it
Just a
just
bit.
seemed like something was new, and even though he wasn't exactly sure, like instinct told him to just like punch.
Yeah. For a second I thought that he had unlocked the strength of a Titan without needing to transform form anymore.
Dude.
And he was just going to be human-sized punching the shit out of people.
Oh my
That
god.
would have been amazing. But
would've
definitely not what the show was
Crazy.
going for.
Yeah. It was definitely satisfying though, seeing that Titan get torn to shreds. It has such a horrible face. I hate it.
Yeah.
Seeing its face literally get torn in two was super satisfying.
Yeah, I would say overall, this season was a lot more satisfying than the first season.
Yeah.
In terms of that, like, it did a lot better. Like, I do still feel like characters could have been fleshed out more, like, overall.
Okay.
But yet it's still moved in the right direction in terms of that. And plot points, like when things happen, Captain Hana's dying, Aaron unlocking this new power, the relationship between Ymir and Krista, I felt a lot more
Right.
in this season than I did in last season. It actually pulled on heartstrings that were there this time. Last
Definitely.
season felt like they were pulling on heartstrings that weren't there.
Exactly, yeah. It felt really good. It's worth pointing out that the first 5 episodes of this season seem to be like the arc surrounding the castle.
Right,
And
yeah.
from episode 6 onward, which is like around like 6 or 7 episodes, is just about the capturing of Aaron.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
fight with the 2 like big titans.
And that's like a totally different approach than the first season took. The first season takes place over such a long stretch of time,
Yeah.
and there's many arcs.
Right.
In this season, it really feels like one arc to me, and then broken up into 2 separate
Yes.
bits, which is you're talking about.
I guess it's like 2
there's-
days as well.
That's the
right?
thing. It's like the
it's a
first
short time.
bunch of episodes doesn't even go forward. Actually, it goes backwards because it's like,
Yeah.
here's these events that were happening while Annie's rampaging in the middle circle
Right.
of town.
Right.
So,
But I wouldn't say it's too different from the first season because there is like a 7 episode arc here, which is a lot like the first season.
yeah. Where it's
Yeah.
like, here's this drawn out short period of time again.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it so much because we were getting a lot of new information every episode almost.
Yeah, it's almost like you're watching it in real time.
Yeah,
Whereas in the
yeah.
first season, it felt like they were drawing out minutes into whole episodes.
Yeah,
Whereas
definitely.
now it's like I'm watching a 22-minute episode and it feels like I was with them for 22 minutes of their time.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. Kind of like how the cannonball episode in question just
Oh,
felt
God.
like that was like 10 minutes
Yes.
of like stuff happening, but their inner monologues were like going on forever and ever and ever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was really annoying.
One of the other things, when Aaron does unlock his power, I mean, we just touched on it, but Mikasa starts to confess her feelings for him, and I think like that is part of him unlocking. It's not just seeing Hannes die.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that moment with Mikasa, because she says something like, you wrapped this like the end of her little monologue there is that she says, you wrapped this scarf around me, and he says like, and I'll do that like now and forever as much as you want, and then he's like, that's when he like kind of like stands up and is ready to face the Titan.
So we can't really discount that is like a big chunk of where he got his like power from.
I think so. And I'm really glad to see something like that, because it's really good to see proper evidence of their relationship and what they mean to each other, rather than Mika just saying, Eren, I'll protect you. Always, you know?
Also, it would kind of be a huge cop-out if she just, like, confessed her feelings to him, and he was like, yeah, okay, anyways, I hate Titans!
Yeah. And I think it's, like, the necessity to kind of put these Titans to an end, and for him to say, like, he just lost Hannes, and realizing like he doesn't want to lose any more people that he cares about, right in that moment, and that's why he says like, I'll do this like now and forever as much as you want, and that's like him saying like, I care about you, and now I need to destroy this like Titan, I guess, for like, the good of...
and that's the season seemed to be building up to the moment where Eren would finally protect Mikasa from something, because he had the moments, the flashbacks with his mom, like her saying, one day you're gonna have to take care of Mikasa. It's very like nail on the head, but I guess we got the moment finally.
It felt good.
So I'm looking at my notes now, and I realize that the Titans, they seem to let slip, like the human Titans, Reiner and R&B is what I call them in all my notes. They seem to say that capturing Eren, Annie, and Krista are their only mission goals. Like, that's it.
Oh, yeah. They actually say at a point where it's like, we actually don't need to eliminate humanity anymore. Come with us, and then...
he does say that.
So it's like, what changed?
Also, is that supposed to make us think that nobody else within the walls is a Titan? Because that seems really hard to believe right now.
Oh, fuck no, yeah. There's definitely...
3 more Titans within the walls, and nobody else's, huh?
Yeah. But I mean, as we've seen so far, everybody has different objectives. So it's like, who even knows? That's like, I kind of wish they fleshed it out like a little bit more. So it's like, we don't have to assume what everybody wants and who's aligned with who. Because as soon as you start, like... dividing Titans into factions without fully explaining what any of them want. I mean, sure, there's intrigue, but it's also like hard to keep track of.
Right. So, and I think what we can say also is that like there probably are Titans in the city, but the fact that Reiner and Birdie didn't know initially that Ymir was a Titan means that they might just not be aware of more Titans in the city. That being said, there must be more Titans.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah.
Also, did you guys like the fact that Ymir's not a cool Titan? She's just like a little munchkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a little goblin.
It's gross. I think like thematically though, or like pacing wise, it doesn't make sense for there to be more Titans within the walls.
I guess not.
Like as people, I don't mean like literally buried in the walls themselves, because there definitely are.
Yeah. Oh no, I just meant for like this season, no. But I think in future seasons we might find out that there are other Titans.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially now that we definitively know that humans like are the source of Titans.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we definitively know that.
Yeah.
They definitely... it's the very last thing that they allude to in the show is, like, Erwin saying that to Levi.
Right.
There's also, like a little explanatory frame in between where it just says humans are a derivative of
Titan. They do. They do say that,
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say is that one thing I didn't like about the season is the fact that by episode 2... I'm sure everybody watching the show clues in that, like, oh, Titans come from humans. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then they don't
because
just get to the point.
You see, like, Connie's mom.
Sees his mom, yeah.
But then 10 episodes later, they're finally like, oh, I think this might be a possibility.
Yeah.
It's like, just they got to it kind of way too late for it to be even relatively surprising.
Yeah, just as, like, spit it out. Everyone already figured that point out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it was cool.
Yeah. Is there anything we haven't discussed? Should we just, like...
Well, I did want to say just kind of... I guess one of the reasons that I did feel in some ways that this season wasn't satisfying was because it didn't answer some of the questions that we had from season 1. And I think that that's okay. It's just like, because it's been 4 years, I wonder how people feel about these certain things, right? So, for example, we know nothing about Aaron's basement. That was a goal in season 1. They're like, all right, let's get to the basement. And then they got interrupted by Annie, right? Yeah. And that became the whole thing. We know nothing more of Aaron's dad, unless that guy's Aaron's dad. We can talk about that in a second.
Right.
Nothing more, I guess, about Annie. Like, are they experimenting on her in any way? Like, are they trying to break through the crystal?
Probably.
Right? Like, you'd imagine that they would be, right?
I wish we saw more of Annie, actually. And, got some kind of context as to what's going on besides Armin just being like, yo, guess what? We're torturing her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's it. So those were, like, I guess, major questions that we had in season 1. And also, what's the deal with the Titan in the wall? Like, we got just a little bit more information on that.
Right.
Yeah.
But we didn't dive deeper into it. So now we have a lot of questions that do need to be answered in season 3, or at least kind of reveal a little more to carry us over. I'm nervous that we're going to wait 4 years.
They announced the 3rd season is in 2018.
Okay. Thank goodness. Okay.
Like the day or the week of the finale of season 2, they announced the 3rd season's 2018.
Thank fuck. Holy shit.
Well, then I'm happy actually. Right? Then I'm pretty satisfied with this season.
Yeah, I'm satisfied as well. Did you guys notice that even when there was action in the show, it was never like a long, sweeping, cool Spider-Man shot like the first season?
Not.
It was like deliberately cut up to be disorienting as fuck.
Yeah,
it was never satisfying because you could never actually tell what was going on. The closest that I feel that I got was when Krista gets her first actual kill.
Yeah.
She has this really cool like sideways
so
sweeping shot where you can't even really tell when she goes from slicing ground to slicing the back of the Titan's neck.
Right.
It's very cool.
I feel like they didn't capitalize on the beautiful ODM gear movement this time around. But we did get action in the form of little goblin Ymir jumping from back to back and chomping at the necks of Titans.
Yeah, I guess I'd rather have character development.
Yeah. So it's almost like instead of doing a healthy balance of character development and cool fight scenes in each season, they said, what if season 1 is all action? And season 2 is character development. And that was a bit frustrating in season 1, but now I guess given what we got in season 2, it did balance out a little bit. I actually didn't find that I was missing fight scenes. Like, I wasn't like, where's the action? I was pretty satisfied with what we got.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not to say that there isn't action. There's obviously like fighting and stuff. It's just not like the Attack on Titan iconic action that was in the first season.
Right.
I want to say that my favorite line, besides Reiner saying "marry me" in his head to Krista, was in the third episode. One of the soldiers who's just about to die at the castle says, I should be drinking right now. I've earned the right to get trashed.
Yeah.
There's like a break in there, but yeah, that's what he says.
That's really funny.
Pretty funny.
It's funny because you see that out of context at first, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to it later, and you find out that they found some alcohol stored away somewhere.
Yeah, but then he finds the bottle, and he tries to... He's like, there is a god, and he tries to drink it, and there's nothing in the bottle. So sad, and then he dies.
And then he dies on top of everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Lost.
One of my other favorite lines, other than because Reiner saying "marry me" was my favorite line, but it was when Krista is with Ymir on Reiner as he's running away, and Ymir's trying to convince her to come with her, and then they're saying like, the outside world isn't so bad, like you'll be okay, and then Krista's like, I'm pretty sure Titans won't be saying that to me. And then it zooms in more, and she's like, because they'll be too busy trying to eat me. Like, it's like the worst. It's like the worst burn ever.
Yeah.
Got him.
Oh, God.
Jokes. One thing I thought was super weird is when they're all trying to kidnap Eren, they're all running away.
Yeah.
And Ymir is in Titan form holding onto the back of the colossal, or whatever, the armored Titan.
Right, yeah.
She, like, ejects herself out of her Titan form, talks to Bertolt
And then goes back.
re-enters herself. I'm like, how is your body functional when you're ejecting yourself? This
like,
doesn't make...
Aren't you like drained of energy or something? Like when you pop out, it's not like a Gundam where you just like eject and it's like
they're getting fast and loose with their like canonical Titan.
Pretty soon they're gonna have a dashboard and controllers on the inside.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because I actually wrote down like this is kind of becoming like a mecha because of that. Like she ejected.
Dude. Yeah, definitely. That'd be funny if, like, in the notes, like the liner notes when they were first coming up with the idea for this, is that they wanted to make a mecha show, but they're like, what's a spin we could put on this?
Just make them giant people.
The mechas are flesh. Yeah.
Flesh mecha.
Yeah.
Evangelion.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap this up?
I feel like, generally, I think this was great. I really enjoyed it. But what I noticed in terms of pacing, like it's kind of a weird mixed emotion because like I like that they did this, but I also didn't. I liked all the flashbacks. Like there's a lot where things are going forward, and then there will literally be a scene where they like rewind it, and then they go 6 hours earlier, or like they'll flash back to a moment where they're like training with the cadets, or like a story or an anecdote that we missed out on when they just kind of had that. That gap in time when they were training, we didn't see any of it, and it's just like, oh, now they're ready to go fight Titans, and then they go fight Titans and get destroyed. So I think it was cool that we got like a lot of context and backstory, but at the same time, I kind of wish that the actual progression of events was greater. I kind of wish there was more happening than people just kind of going back and forth between the same walls that they've been in, and sort of. Like, even when they went back to the forest, when Reiner was running away and he was like, oh, like, we're going to be heading through this forest or whatever, I was like, what, again? Like, they didn't think of a different set piece? Like, they couldn't, I don't know, pick a desert or, like, a mountain range, or, like, they showed us snow this time. So it's like, maybe, like, you could have picked anything other than, what the set that we were given in the latter half of the first season. It's like, so in that way it kind of felt a bit repetitive, or like there's kind of a treadmill effect, but it wasn't not satisfying. I was still very satisfied just because of all the information we got.
Oh yeah, the snow, that reminds me of the promise. I guess we never mentioned like the term the promise between Ymir and Historia.
Yeah.
To like be her true self the day that I reveal that I'm a Titan, or whatever the fuck.
And stop living.
Nice message at the end, you know?
Yeah.
Stop living for other people.
Right. Wait, what's the time difference between the end of the first season and this? Is it like immediately? I'm kind of forgetting right now.
It's immediately / hours behind.
Right. Yeah, okay.
I would say immediately because they're looking at the wall.
That's destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Something that I found funny that I'm just realizing now is that there's a scene where Hanji is instructing everybody in episode 8 on like what to do, what the game plan is, but she's injured, so she's like lying down on her stomach, totally like down for the count, but there's a map in front of her and she's pointing at different locations about what to do.
Oh, I love Hanji. Pretty funny. And then her like second in command just like dips without her, and she's like, oh, where are you going?
Yeah. Well, I should quickly mention that the voice actor of Rainer, which is Robert McCallum, also voices adult Goten in Dragon Ball GT.
Holy shit.
GT.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And he voices Scar's brother in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh.
Sick.
Yeah.
Respect.
The voice actress of Ymir, which is Elizabeth Maxwell, voices Sai Nijima in Persona 5.
Oh my god.
Great fucking detective character. And Motoko, the Major, in Ghost in the Shell Arise.
Okay.
Just Arise, which we haven't seen.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me.
Cool.
Nice. Cool.
So I think that's about it.
We wrapped up everything, boys.
I think that's all we've got to say about Attack on Titan Season 2.
Great season. Can't wait for 2018.
Yeah. I'm glad it's hurrying the fuck up this time.
Yeah, we need that. So thanks for listening, and let us know your thoughts in the comments or tweet at us.
Yeah, are we dumb for thinking what we think? Did we miss anything? Let us know.
Yeah. We're Shonen Chumps on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes.
You know.
And you can email us at shonenchumps@gmail.com.
Nailed it.
So if you give a fuck, thanks for giving a fuck. We love you. See you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.